Kylie's at state soccer finals with her girls' soccer team, so we're recording. We're doing a little mini version of concept attainment, which you guys are going to see in a minute, right? Okay, so this is a version of the concept attainment model where instead of showing you examples and non-examples, I'm showing you example of concept 1 and example of concept 2, and you're comparing them. Okay, but I'm doing it as a mini version, meaning I'm just slamming them all up here at the same time. Okay, so do you feel like you have the gist? This is concept, that's procedure. Go ahead.
So when you're doing like an inquiry type thing, is that more conceptual knowledge?
We'll get there, I promise.
Okay.
Good questions. Hold on to it. All right, so I'm going to test you. Now, some of these get a little tricky, and you'll see on some of your comments, I wrote, I'm not sure if this is a concept or a procedure, just kind of based on how you wrote it. What do you think about this one? Say it louder on it.
Procedural.
Procedural. Okay? So this is a process that artists use as we're preparing to do a final piece. Instead of just jumping right into the final piece, we do thumbnail images. So that would be something I'd want to model, and then we might work through together as a class, and then I might release them out to do as they start to work on a project. Okay? So this is an example of a procedural. Now, if we ask them to explain why you use thumbnail images as part of the creative process, that would be conceptual. Good. Good, good, good. Okay, what about this one? One, two, three. These are awesome. This is hard. I picked mean ones. I used the word demonstrate, which implies a procedure, doesn't it? But this is a conceptual learning target. Okay? They're demonstrating awareness rather than demonstrating how to, right? Good. Okay, some more. Sorry, everybody, but math people.
I love math.
I just interviewed somebody for the program, and the first thing she said was, I love math so much. And literally some of the other people in the interview went. Okay, what do you think? Conceptual, good. Next one. Excellent. I'm going to leave it up for a second. You're so fast. Okay, now say it.
Conceptual.
Yep, absolutely. Ooh. It could be either, couldn't it? Yeah. Okay. So I could teach this particular objective as a process or as a concept. Okay. I could model for them. Here we go. I'm going to show you where these are. Okay. Now let's do it together. You help me point them out. Okay. Now you do it, and I'm going to come around and check you. Right? Or I could teach these appeals to authority, fear, and prejudice as concepts through graffiti model, through jigsaw, through concept attainment, through whatever I want, right? And then ask them to take a poster and identify those within that poster. So I could do it either way. In this particular case, I was thinking procedural. And so some of you in your heads, as you wrote your learning targets for me last week, were probably in your heads thinking, I'm going to teach this as a process. But sometimes I couldn't quite tell. Okay? All right. So will you please turn to your partner at this point and discuss the difference between little d, little I direct instruction, which we often also call lecture or didactic instruction, and big D, big I direct instruction, the model that we've learned in class. Turn to your partner.
So there's that like lecture. The lecture.
State called me like 2 days before I ran. There's a couple weeks between actual proposals due, but like 2 days before I had to say I'm going to do this. They're like, hey, we want you to do this random state. Well, I have created anything in 2 weeks. So I feel really terrible about that. I'm sorry. For 3 weeks. Okay, any clarifying questions, or do you feel pretty good about this now? Clarifying questions? Good. I heard lots of great phrases like kind of teacher-centered or teacher-controlled versus that gradual release of responsibility kind of thing. Modeling, which we do in this one, versus just like shoving out of information, which we do in that one.
Would you say that direct instruction, little d, little I, would be more based off of factual knowledge
Yeah.
than conceptual or procedural?
We can build to, so teaching facts alone is hard.
Yeah.
We typically teach facts as a way to build to a concept, right? Because a concept is a collection of facts,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, usually we do little d, little I to give people definitions and things. There's a place for lecture. I'm not going to badmouth lecture completely, right? There's a place for it. But if it's your modus operandi, if that's how you're teaching all the time, something's wrong, okay? Because it's really not the best way to teach most content. It's a good, efficient way to get out needed facts and like make sure they've got a definition of a concept that's accurate. But there are actually, I think, better ways and other ways to teach concepts. And then most of the time I prefer to do those first and then come back to the DI, let's clear it up. Okay? So we'll keep playing with these throughout the semester. You'll see lots of different versions. We already did this one, but tell me. Procedural. Thank you very much. Why did I say it like that? Because it's fun. Okay, so now we're turning into those models we did last time. Okay, so last time we got to see the 5 E's model of inquiry, and we got to see the problem-based inquiry model. There are 2 others. One of them is called the Suchman inquiry model, which is it's basically like playing 20 questions with your kids. It's a blast. I don't do it very often, so that's one of the reasons I kind of chose to not focus on it a ton here. But it is a great model if you want your kids to like do research on a person or on a big idea or concept within your discipline in an active way in class. Suchman is awesome for that because it gets them like asking questions about what you're trying to do. The other model is just the general inquiry model. Okay, so stand up. Cross the room, mingle, mingle, mingle. What creepy song should I find today? I know exactly.
Sorry.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Here comes the creepy song. Yes. Yes. It will be in your head all day. You're welcome. Stay away. Let's see some dancing here, people. It's almost fall break. Okay, person right next to you. Go. Make sure you know the name. How did I answer this question?
Probably not factual.
Yeah, concept.
Probably conceptual. Incorrect practice.
All of them are.
Do you want me to say yes? But then the other one was kind of problematic. Conceptual, I guess factual. The one where they were pointing out the differences.
Maybe.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What do we think? What kind of knowledge?
Conceptual for sure.
Conceptual for sure, right?
And I would say metacognitive procedural as well.
Absolutely. Ooh. Yep. And yeah, you can actually use inquiry to teach all the models. Wait, other way around.
What?
Yep. You can use inquiry to teach all kinds of knowledge.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Sorry, I can make words come out of my mouth. Okay, so yeah, they're generally utilized most for conceptual and metacognitive. Okay, we always, at the end of an inquiry model, do a self-evaluation. Always, 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 because it's self-driven, right? It's very student-centered. So that helps with all the metacognitive stuff. Conceptual, that's usually what we're getting at in the end. I've done some great inquiry lessons about how to properly throw a football across a room. Okay, because if I teach them the cues or the skills, okay, and they try to remember them, right? But if you let them experiment on and question about, well, what does that feel like? And how does it look? And if I try to throw a ball across the room, how do I get it the farthest, the most efficiently? If you let them experiment and question about that for a little bit, and then you teach them the cues, it matters more. So they're like, oh, yeah, see, I saw that it worked better. Now I have these cues that are going to help me remember that. That's great. Okay, so we can actually use it to teach procedures and things as well. But as Derek was pointing out, or Terrence, one of them, we need to make sure we kind of help sculpt and clarify that so they're not developing inaccuracies. Okay? Super cool. Factual, they should get along the way. So if I'm doing Stuckman inquiry model, for example, they would be getting facts as they research and ask me questions to get to the larger concept or the big idea that we're talking about for the day. So we can do all of them. Woohoo!
Yay.
Good job, you guys! All right, thank you, partner. We'll listen to creepy music till you get back to your desk.
Thanks.
Thank them.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Do it.
Look at his lips. They're like super out there. Are they always like that? Oh, I never noticed them.
I'm going to leave that up for the rest of the day. Right there. Okay. By the way, apparently my theme this semester is songs you should not play if you're teaching 9th grade. Okay? That's creepy. Okay. All right. So we're going to transition into our group teaching us today. As they prepare, as we are getting ready, this was our bell ringer from last time. Compose 2 learning targets that are aligned to the direct instruction model. So if you haven't already done that, or if you feel you'd like to try again, okay, go ahead. Even if you did them perfectly last time and you feel like, let me try a couple others and check, that's fine, right? I am here to give you feedback. We should also be working on composing 2 learning targets that are aligned to inquiry models. Now, notice what I've done here. You're going to write those learning targets and then identify which model you would use to teach that. And if you just want to stick to the 5Es and problem-based, that's fine. Okay? And the type of knowledge you think students are going to develop as part of that. Okay, so you're going to develop or identify those 2 things to go along with each of your learning targets. As you write, I'm going to pass out our peer evaluations. Are you going to steal that back?
Yeah,
Go
you gave
for
me
it,
additional instructions.
Go for it. Yeah, so tell me really clearly, here are my direct instruction ones. 1, 2. A learning target is like an ICANN statement, a daily objective or indicator is that thing. So the ones I've been showing throughout the PowerPoint, right? Let's see. Learning target. Something they should be able to accomplish in a day. Just one today. So I should have a verb from Bloom's taxonomy, and we should be able to accomplish it in a day. You just need 1 peer evaluation today.
It's supposed to be based on our own.
Yes. Yep, so if you need to pull up your core, you're welcome to do that.
Can you go back to that?
Claro que sí. Did everybody get a peer evaluation form? Please don't hesitate to ask questions if you have them. Actual, usually that's actual, but I can. Usually, unfortunately, we have mixed all of them.
I could, for example, list the steps. So if I go back to my list, I can list the steps in how to create a bike, right? And that would be procedural knowledge that would be through the direct instructions. That's not consistent. So it's more the nature of the task. If they're explaining or describing an idea, then that would be conceptual knowledge. If they are improving things, right? They can explain or describe a process too, right? But if they're explaining or describing an idea, like if they're testing the postmodernism modern movement, right? Then that would be conceptual. But if they're talking about they're comparing the processes when creating versus and just alternative something, that would be procedural. Okay, so it's really about, are we talking about or actually doing something, or are we talking about some big idea? It's tricky. Yeah, anytime we're talking about how to do something, that's what it is. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and invite our presentation group up. These don't have to be turned in today. Okay, take your time. This is a skill that we're developing, so I'm not going to rush you on it. If you need to take a picture of the slide, you can. It is also in the module for today. Now, it was lovely of you to be so nice to the groups that presented last week. But really, all fours, everybody. Really. I'm okay with you giving all fours as long as you give good feedback as well on the peer evaluations, okay? All right, I'm going to move this back. Not that you didn't do well. I'm not saying you didn't do well. I'm just saying all fours. Okay.
She went to others.
Right? She went to others. There we go.
Oh, so they don't have to give them points.
Right? I'm here to talk about
today.
¿Quién sepa español?
Hola. Yo sé español un poquitito.
One. Okay. We're going to make 3 groups so that you have a Spanish speaker in each group. So if you speak Spanish, we'll do 1, 2, 3. So you can choose your own groups. Just get into 3 equally sized groups with one of your group leaders. Go.
There's one here in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here and I need to be spread out across. Actually,
Don't eat.
You can have that chair. I'll work over the chair. Yeah, I'll sit back here. All right.
So I'm Clark, this is Chris. We're doing the concept attainment model. So our goal today is that you'll be able to identify examples of the concept we're going to teach you, and that you'll be able to define it in your own words. Así que el proceso. So we're going to show you 2 lists of examples. In the first list, it will be an example of the concept we're teaching. The second list will not be an example, or it will be a non-example of the concept we're teaching. So we're going to show you just a couple at a time and give you time to talk in your groups to try to formulate a hypothesis. And as we show more examples and non-examples, if what we're showing on the board disproves your hypothesis, you might need to reformulate it. And then at the end, we'll try to select a name or a title for this concept and then define it.
Right, and the green is the concept that we're teaching, and the red is not the example of the concept.
Okay. Okay. So talk amongst yourselves. What do the green ones have in common, and what do the red ones not have in common?
Okay, just guess.
The colors.
Wait, but those are the reds, they have it in common.
The green ones end with A, but the red ones do not end with A, guys.
One of them ends with A.
Well, yeah, but they don't both end with the same letter.
Okay.
What do those mean? Does that mean the Republic is technology? Okay.
Is what?
Oh, that's remember that song? Maybe like a
The court or field.
Oh, court. Oh, okay.
Court. I did not know that. Court. What do they have in common?
Or
no, like a
court.
Like a sport. Like a soccer field or...
I think so.
Yes.
Oh, so these are like
Does anyone have a
activities,
hypothesis
and
that
then
you
the
want to
other
share?
ones are
Something that you feel pretty good about?
something.
Is it maybe the ending of the word? That one ends in so it's feminine and the other ones are.
Concha ends in
I know, but like, so are you asking what they have in common with each other?
Uh-huh. What is similar about these words that these words do not have?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Accent.
Accents?
Those thingies.
And you're right that these both end feminine, these don't.
This one does though.
Was Biley also feminine?
No, but
And Biley, not Concha.
Biley is masculine.
Oh,
Okay, here's some more examples.
More examples, all right. Throw it up, right?
The red one.
Oh no, there it went.
Oh, what does that mean?
No.
Okay, talk again. If that messed up your theory, reformulate it.
I don't have any more theories. I give up. Oh. Wait, I was going to say nouns, yeah.
Not right.
Oh, yeah, they're similar to...
Nouns versus not nouns, guys. What do you think?
Figure out what they are without saying.
There's like a name for that, isn't there? The ones that are like similar through languages?
Wait, guys, nouns versus not nouns? I don't know the language, so. But the left side all seems like it's nouns.
But a dance could be a noun also.
Sangre is blood, isn't it? So that's a noun. Wait, such as court or field, so that's a noun.
Okay, any theories? So
How about we let them tell us what the actual words
I
mean?
think you're making your board go forward
Oh, root and
by
blood.
touching it. Smart board.
Oh, those are not recreational activities, man.
What's... I think we're...
Okay, what's this group? What's your theory?
Those ones all, the green ones all look like their English counterparts, and the red ones don't.
That's nice.
Yeah, those ones are easy to read.
That's
That's what I'm saying. Oh, I didn't.
I just said it right here.
And they all have 4 syllables.
Okay, you put us up some more examples.
4 syllables.
Yeah, that's
Tecnología. 5.
Oh, there we go.
Boom.
thought of that one.
Lento. Fiscal? Is fiscal like money? Yeah, I think that's still, the theory still holds true.
So is the theory true, or does someone want to change it?
That theory is good.
Okay, want to put up some more crap?
Don't throw us out.
Arte.
Yeah.
Dibujo.
So good, guys.
You want to put the last one?
Organs, literature, hexagon, volcano. I don't know.
Nice.
So is that what you want to go with? That's
Yeah.
the definition? Yes, that's right. These are cognates, or cognados.
Cognados.
Does anyone want to guess what those are? I heard some people guessing.
Not cognados.
I'm out. You want to go down the green ones? What are those words in English?
Oh, gym, republic, technology, instrument, president, fiscal, electricity, movement, dictionary, art, organ, literature, hexagon, volcano.
Yep. Perfect.
Yay. So good at this.
So this is what we just did. We developed our title, the cognates, and our definition, that it looks the same or similar in English and Spanish. So let's practice. Yeah.
I've got a question. Aren't there some words that look like they're cognates, but they're not, and so they really screw you up?
Yeah, we're going to get to those.
Used to make fun of like is that like oh like pregunte? That doesn't mean pregnant. That means question.
Okay, ¿es un cognado o no? So if you think this is the same or similar to its English counterpart, you say sí, and if it's not, you say no. Yeah.
Sí.
Sí. ¿Es un cognado?
Sí.
Sí. ¿Sí o no?
Sí.
Sí.
Yes! Stuck to my guns.
¿Es un cognado o no?
No. It means
No.
doctor. Yeah.
It also means coffee substitute.
¿Cognado o no?
Sí.
Sí. Sí.
Sí.
Yay!
Oh, you're not helpful.
No, I know what that one is. I don't know what it would be. No. Wait, they call it El Nino, the child? Oh, it's because it's destructive.
Little boy.
Right.
¿Sí o no?
Oh, Islam? I was like, why does it have car on it?
No.
Wow.
See.
See, tiger.
No.
Okay, tigre. Tiger.
Oh.
Timbre.
No.
What?
No.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I'm This is what Jeremy was talking about. These are false cognates. They're words that look like they could be, but they're not.
See. No. Yes.
No, it's
No,
actually,
no.
That's not how you say it. Oh, it is. I'm learning. No idea what that is.
¿Sí o no?
No.
Or does it mean
It's
pulp?
gonna be the stuff in orange.
Octopus.
Not full.
Planet, yes.
No.
It wasn't wood. It wasn't
Does not mean new.
Fine.
No.
Is it? Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
I like the knot.
We have una asignación for all of you.
A piece of paper? Oh, an assignment.
Es un pognado.
Necesito para mi vida. Right? It's necessary for our lives. That's what I just said. It's the only thing I know.
Así que hay cognados que sigan reglas establecidas. They're cognates that follow specified rules.
Nombre means number, right?
Nombre?
False cognate.
So we want you to work on this for a little bit. You can work as a group. Try to look at the Spanish words, figure out what the ending is, and then what would that be in English. And there aren't false cognates on the list. These are all actually cognates.
You guys work in the group or just first?
So you find
So he's like he's
The first one's done.
right. Oh, right. Oh,
He also.
Is the English ending?
Like the first one's done for you.
If you're like my mother, you just have to go there.
Fractal.
That's how you speak Spanish.
To.
Let's carry Kylie around for a minute. Where does Kylie want to be? Let's put her in this group. Kylie's going to come join your group. She's not live. But we're recording for her because she's at the state soccer tournament. So.
Is she playing or coaching?
What was that? Coaching.
Coaching, oh, okay.
What is this?
American Fork High School soccer. Kylie did.
She normally sits right here. But she left me.
Operación TION.
Are much better at German.
Okay, so some of you have multicolored
That's the thing. I took
German.
Really?
So I fill out those slips.
My language
So if you have a green slip, write a cognate on it. If you have a red slip, write something that is not.
Transportation, circulation.
That's where the Spanish teachers will come in.
Do you want them to use my dry erase marker so you can reuse?
Yeah. So I passed out some markers.
Okay.
Is that fourth one ARY or RARY? Fourth one.
Yeah. To me, the IO switched to Y, the wheels go down.
I really need to have a whole sheet of cognates there. Put on your green slip.
So it's ARIO and ARY.
Yeah, because I think because there's more common letters than that. I think it's all the common letters at the end.
Yeah.
Basic.
No, those are Spanish. They're all Spanish words.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's funny. The one right here.
Yeah.
So it's. Yeah, I just do it like that. Oh, Ian instead of Ian. I just see it.
Wait, so is this recording? Can she hear everything we say?
Yeah.
Should we talk to her?
Hello.
Hello, Kylie. Everything's going well.
How are you?
Kick some butt. Missed you today.
the other activity you were doing?
On the green paper, write a comment. You can use any one paper if you want, and then on the red one, write non-comment. That way you can both of the Spanish pages.
Already finished that?
And then write some comments on the paper.
I don't even remember what waffle means. Oh, it's over there.
Oh, you.
I got it.
I just decided to do all the Spanish first. It's easier to pick them out. Or they have to use a little bit what the word is and then spell it out. And they write all mentions and they'll all work with that.
There's 14 different words for R.
I'm not sure what they mean, so you find in English. Well, here, the green one's write a comment. You can do it on the list. The red one's write a non-comment.
Thank you.
Sure. You can look one up on a dictionary or whatever.
Do you guys want to use one of these?
Everyone in speaking at the same time in English. So it's contagious.
I don't know how to do that.
Malicious, hilarious, dangerous. Misdemeanors, dangerous.
Oh, I had to ask about this too. Cool. Oh, that's
That's making it
like what? Curiosity.
Wait, is it?
Ustedes tienen 2 minutos más.
English word or a
I had no idea you guys were doing this. That's cool. Tell me so much besides. Okay, I'm not sure. So you just choose one word.
You can recognize comments and you can really make out a lot of issues.
That's my problem. I'm not good at spelling.
You really is so
Vamos a hacer la evaluación. Ahora. So now that you know about cognates, I just wanted to go back through some of these first slides and see if you can tell me what they say. So,
the process.
The process.
The concept. And one definition.
Example.
Is necessary. To decide.
one definition.
The definition of the concept. Formulate a hypothesis in your group. You should reformulate your hypothesis. And then intentar is to try to select a name or title for your concept.
See what you did there.
That was covered.
Examples. Común, consider, generation hypothesis.
Ooh, that top one. I don't know that.
Develop. It doesn't look a lot like it's not cognate. A title and a definition. Okay. So, we just have a few questions for you to think about. ¿Ustedes tenían dificultades? Did you have any difficulties during the process? Yes?
The ones that would see.
So why was that tricky?
Because I didn't know this pieces, so I thought that they were just English and
Anything else? Difficulties during this process?
I was just at the beginning trying to figure out what the concept was, and tricky, but then it got easier as the more examples came along.
I think we probably got it. Do all of those look like cognates in the dream?
Mm-hmm.
You guys did really, really well. So, when was it that you understood? When you attained the concept?
Oh, I was messing with my ears.
Don't move. When was the light bulb for you?
I think it's when, like, after we were, formulating our hypothesis, and you guys said, yeah, that's correct.
Who was the one that first said that they were cognates? When was the light bulb for you? Yeah.
Video?
Was that
Yeah, I think it was after words. Saw a trend.
Well, and when we could figure out what those were, but then we were like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? It's like, oh wait, maybe that has something to do with it.
That is why we picked this one, so that if you didn't speak Spanish, that actually plays to your advantage a little bit. So what helped you figure out the title or the definition of this concept? We talked a little bit about just saying all of the words together. Was there anything else?
I think the non-examples help just as much as the examples do.
Why do you say that?
To kind of show you what it couldn't be. Because there's a lot of possibilities of what it could be like. There's the masculine, feminine, the number of syllables, but look at the other side. Disqualifying. Narrow down the scope.
And then, how would have you, if this had been your example, how would have you revealed the examples? What have you done? All of the examples first, followed by non-examples. Just what order would have you showed us the examples in if this had been your activity?
I think I might have just put a few more of both all the time instead of just 2 at a time, but maybe like 4 and 4. But I like having the contrast. I just think it would have been easier because we were trying to find like what's common between the 2 of them, but it's easier to find something common between 4, like a specific thing in common between 4.
So did you find it easier as we kept going?
Yeah.
I kind of like how the first thing you put up had the accents, and then the first thing you did on the next set was dispelled that.
I don't know if they were random, but after that, when you guys talk about the accent mark, he's like, we need to put right there, because that one has the accent.
So, and then I think another good step could have been a false, one of the false words. And then you can eventually tell them the definition, or you can discuss with them the definition of the negative. That was the one that wasn't. So they see it, and then they're like, oh, well, but that's not really. Yeah. I don't know. Keep building on it.
And how did the handout help you? Did it help you? Why?
Well, it improves your vocabulary just from knowing a few of these ending changes. You can take a lot of the English words you know and switch them to Spanish. Maybe not always correctly, but at least you have like a lot more vocabulary at the two. So that's helpful.
It was just reinforcement. There's a whole lot of examples.
examples of the correct ones. Yeah, I think it helps recognize patterns. Like if you can learn to recognize the patterns in Spanish, excuse me, between Spanish and English, it's a lot easier. If you don't know a word by the root by itself, you can tell what it might be.
I think for those of us who don't speak multiple languages, we're using a different part of our brain. So I think this is helping us to tap into a part of the brain that maybe is sort of slightly stagnant or underused a little bit.
So during the part where we learned about false cognates that Jeremy brought up, what was going through your mind then?
What was my lens of how do I tell the difference? Like how do I not mess that up?
Anything else? You're kind of unsettled then?
A little bit.
So now, the big evaluation. How do you define a cognate? Just someone in your own words. What is a cognate?
A cognate is a Spanish word that has English, like a similar English word.
And then can you give us an example? Of a cognate?
Well, I'm not looking there, so I'm just going to say computadora with computer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's computer.
Oh, that's perfect.
Cognates exist in all languages. Like you can, it's not just Spanish and English, but like even people who speak Spanish, but for myself, it's a lot easier to understand French, Italian, even Portuguese, just because there's a lot more cognates between those languages and all that base.
And you'll find there are lots of words that you wouldn't think of first are cognates. So when you find out what they mean, like corporal in English, a corporal in Spanish, they're both related to cuerpo, which means your body. So even though cuerpo and body aren't necessarily cognates, that Latin root connects the words together. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Critiques for the group. Things you think they did well, things they could work on, and that can be with the implementation of the model or their instructional procedures or classroom management.
Lay it on us, yeah.
You had a good use of humor. Keeps things light.
You could write down your objective. That would have been good.
Yeah, my suggestion that I wrote down for you was on this particular one, because we want them to attain the concept and we don't necessarily want to give it away at the beginning, you could do a fill-in-the-blank objective. So identify examples of and define blank. And then as they go through this process and realize, oh, okay, it's cognates, you fill that into the objective. So that would be good. Okay.
But I thought, like, for the readiness of everybody, not everybody knew Spanish, but separating us into groups with somebody who did speak Spanish, that helped.
How might he have differentiated, they have differentiated for readiness for those kids who are advanced in the class? So they put them in the groups, which is great. Once you started doing the individual work, what could they have done to differentiate? Okay, so you could have become peer tutors and walked around. What could we do to extend your knowledge?
You have different levels of worksheets.
Yeah, different levels of worksheets. Good. So they might have had worksheets that were full of false cognates or more advanced vocabulary that now they're acquiring new vocabulary by doing it. Good. Other thoughts?
I think it was really good that you color coded which ones was like a good example versus a bad example. Because I think it would have like totally messed me up because I don't know any Spanish.
Can anybody see a minor problem?
It's red and green.
Yeah. Yeah, which is natural coloring for examples and non-examples, but if you do have any colorblind students, that's going to be an issue. So they could have also created at the top examples, non-examples, just done headings and kind of divided it out or done it as a poster. So there was that visual cue as well for the kids who are colorblind. Others?
I really liked how both of you would say question. I was teaching. You would say a phrase in Spanish and then repeat it in English. I felt like that.
I think it would have been good to do maybe one example of these together before we started on the worksheet.
Good.
Because there were a few minutes where I had to process like what I was supposed to do before.
I think that was, as far as classroom management is concerned, that's my biggest piece of feedback, is checking to make sure they know what's expected before they begin. So before you start the concept attainment things, that's going to be new to a lot of students. Have, prompt students to explain to everybody else, all right, what are we going to be doing? Right? So ask them to repeat directions back to you. Yeah, with the worksheet, either go through one together or, again, prompt somebody to say, now explain back to me, what are we doing on this worksheet? That's a really important strategy to make sure we're all on the same page. Otherwise, you're asking, as you saw, answering all those same questions in every group.
I did wish that in your slide when you were giving an example after example that you did it a little bit slower. And then you said, like, okay, for those of you who know this, please don't yell it out. Because, like, when someone, like, yells something out, then you already decided that that's the answer without, like, having to put thought into it.
Yeah, I made the same mistake today. Good. Any others? Great use of the model, really well aligned. Very well done. So I'd like you to think about the benefits of attaining the concept of cognate this way versus via a lecture. A cognate is this. Here are some examples. Now here's your worksheet. Right? Instead, you got to kind of discover, based on the examples and non-examples, what a cognate is. Will you retain that information better? Do you think? Sure. Okay.
So the only thing I worry about with some of these like instruction models is it seems like it takes a lot more time for something that could be a really, really easy concept to learn.
Right.
So do you want to save this for your really difficult concepts or not?
To whom is the concept really easy? That's always going to be my first question.
Okay.
So to us, it may be easy because we're experts in our fields. To the kids, it may not be.
Okay.
I would argue that, yeah, these models generally do take a bit more time than, here, I'm going to shove it at you and then we'll do lots of practice. But I end up reteaching a lot, right? So if you do a more meaningful upfront lesson on a concept, I end up reteaching less in the end, and it ends up saving me time across the unit. Okay? So do you have to do it for every single one? No, of course not. Right? And the kids will get sick of it if it's like, okay, concept attainment time again, and they're like, oh my god. But, different concepts, use different things. This is particularly good if there's like a clear set of rules for that concept. You want to use concept attainment, right? Like, there are rules here. It looks like its English counterpart. That's the rule, right? Or they're a set of characteristics. So if I look at, so a friend of mine did a lesson with Northwestern Native American tribes art. It's very specific. It uses specific colors, specific shapes, and has specific subject matter. So examples, non-examples of that. And the kids really quickly, oh, okay, that's what it is. All right, now you're going to make your own. And they were ready to go. There was no reminders. Wait, what shape do they use again? Right? They really acquired it very, very well. So anything that has a clear set of rules within that concept, that's what we want to go for. All right, so we have a few minutes left. You've got your bell ringer you can be working on. You've got your now exit slip, but if you end up turning it in next time, that's fine. Compose two learning targets in alignment with concept attainment model. So are there concepts in these disciplines that have clear rules that students would acquire really nicely this way? If you have any other questions about lesson plans or anything else, you have 3 minutes. Content development group, I'd also like to talk to you. Good job. I don't want that. Those, yes. Yeah, so basically, it's kind of weird to take those and try to put it into like having us use the literacy
Oh, those. Okay, I was like, I'm just talking about that. It should be on. No, the Common Core. The Common Core. Okay, Common Core. Yeah. And let me see where you're looking to because. Okay, well, so I just went to the thing, whatever you gave us. Why do I not have this? Did you go to the technical subjects on the technical subjects? That's where
Yeah.
and then I put notes. I just put 2 in because I wanted to ask you. Well, I haven't gotten those yet.
Oh, do you want your name? Oh, you got it. See it. Just
She said that. The second one?
Were you wondering what I was doing?
Yeah, that's absolutely. Okay. Yep, you're on the right track. Okay. It's like I think I do, and then I'm like, I don't know. You are welcome to turn in your lesson plans, hard copy or digital, whichever.
Dr. Cox, do you want to come forward?
Okay. Alright, so what are you doing?
Hi, Kylie. I like to talk crap about her. Oh my gosh, Kylie's the worst. What if we did do that? I think that would happen in a movie or something where like it was like being filmed.
Yeah.
I should get really close to it. I hope your day has been wonderful. I hope your team won, and I'm sure you're a great coach, so I'm sure they won. We can actually see it now. Should we end it? Should I ask her? Should we do like a performance? This is your seat. You're normally sitting here, but you're not today, so that's okay. This is the class. There's Maddie. Say hi to Maddie. Okay.
Yeah, it's. There's one thing that's one for the bottom. So that's like one thing that's somewhat.
That makes me feel better about this.
Okay, we gotta say goodbye to her now. Bye, Kylie. Just cover everyone. See you later.